All right, I want to get into the divisional round rankings early this morning before coffee and see how I do and get this going for you. You can go to, for example, Fantasy Pros, free of course, get the rankings according to the experts here for the divisional round, and that's fine. You can see who's obviously ranked number one and so forth, Gurley, Elliott at that position and everything. But when you go to the NFL DFS Army Research Station, it gives you right here what is I can take their running back position as well here as an example. Just need that a little time to load. Now let's just do the quarterbacks. Every position has this ranking here. For quarterbacks called Rocket Arm, sort descending, and it's not the actual projections. Let's say it does give an actual projection as that's loading here. Should be able to still see here, though, all the way to the right for Patrick Mahomes. His actual projection DraftKings point total will be 23.6, and his Rocket Arm rating is 13.9. So those are different numbers, just explaining what they mean. On these sheets, really, in every sport, they take all the factors, the main important factors, such as, passing yards, attempts, things that correlate together to make sure that the quarterback is getting the opportunity, of course, the offense and the defense that he's playing against to get his potential, and as well as the Vegas line totals and implied team totals to come up with this Rocket Arm number that it's working on that. So that's really gives you a more solid foundation for what you need to look for, but it also does correlate with the DraftKings actual projected team total you can expect perhaps on DraftKings, so that you can see the difference, so as opposed to looking here at a position and just saying, well, yeah, I should take Kamara over Damian Williams. That's obvious, but by how many points? How many points difference is it really between these two guys? If one is cheaper, probably not in that case. A better example maybe between Williams and Mac. If Mac is cheaper than Williams by just a couple hundred on the site, why not take Mac? If the projection is just, not much at all. The good thing here about this, though, I just noticed that it gives you a standard deviation. That's what this is right here. That makes my previous job a lot easier, as I was doing this weekly during the season. A standard deviation of 0.5 is pretty good for Mac. 0.9 not good, obviously, for Williams, because the higher the number is to 1, it could possibly reach 1, which would be kind of bad for the running back as a standard deviation. Of course, I don't know why I'm not showing you for Gurley and Zeke, but I had some numbers I put up in previous weeks. You can find there through my blog posts, like in previous, week 16, 15, and on back to, I think I started in week 3. I give you a more relevant or 5-game breakdown of the standard deviation on wealthyfantasyfootball.com. As you can look at those, maybe the most recent one in week 16 might have some of these players here, depending on which players I chose in my particular pool of players, which I got basically from the projections off this site. So that's how I sort of, rank the players according to their consistency ranking. That's what that is here, the standard deviation. Just explain that as well, so that you understand. If you have any questions, leave them on the comments section. So here, but here's an example like of a standard deviation that's not consistent. A 1 for Eckler as well as Josh Adams for Philly, indicating these guys are higher risk. So that's what that is. Interesting. So then, if you want to get the research station, get all this. There's many tools here. This is already updated with the latest. You can also go over here to the NFL section, get not only a player pool, which is better to be focused on player pool, as I will come up with as well on my site on wealthyfantasyfootball.com to see my player pool, but you can get the professionals himself, the geeks player picks for Fanduel and or Big Marley's for DraftKings, main slate player pool. That'll be out about tomorrow this time is my best guess, Friday afternoon, let's say. as an estimate, and you'll get all this their breakdown of the player pool instead of just rankings, so you can get also their perspective, but breakdown of what their players or why they're choosing their pool of players, because they have to obviously pick players that they can afford, especially into DraftKings. So to make sure you understand the difference, why it's better not to just go by rankings, but rather, use some of this information, such as here the standard deviation. But however, don't just go off of it to try to, or from any fantasy pro or professional site to try to get your playoff lineup set. It's better to go with the correlation. You need that as well. That's over here, right here, the correlation sheet, correlation matrix. That's also my previous article explaining the breakdown how to get matched up players. In my previous video, how to even do that with the defense. Make sure you're not relying on just anybody's, like I said, projections, or even this size projections to get your team matched up, because you want to get a good defense that's playing, perhaps, and I give an example in the last video with a blowout win. Not only do you want the offense, but you want defense and blowout win. So if that's likely to happen this week, is yet kind of to be determined. It's somewhat determined here by the Vegas totals of spreads. As we can just sort these here real quick. There's a spread here with the Saints of 8 points. So that's the most likely to be the blowout of the week. And the Colts favored as well by 5 points. Let's see. No, also the Rams, 7.5. So pretty good there for those potentials, actually. The Rams over the Cowboys, blow-up potential, and the Saints over the Eagles. So don't rule out those possibilities. If you put that in a tournament and that happens, you'll likely be a winner. That would happen, as I learned the hard way, making these mistakes even this year and previous weeks. So I will try not to do it this week and have a winning tournament lineup. I hope you guys will as well. Thanks a lot for watching.